Many people are speculative about a potential downfall in Buffalo on the offensive side of the football after a big turnaround in their receiving core that lost Stefon Diggs and Gabe Davis this offseason. These were obviously the two main contributors in Buffalo's receiving core over the last 4 seasons, but the team also lost Deontay Hardy and Trent Sherfield, who both signed 1-year deals with the team last offseason. After making multiple offseason moves to address the position, Buffalo seemingly has a surplus of options in the passing game, despite what you may have heard elsewhere. Josh Allen has a plethora of options in his arsenal of weapons, and he'll look to utilize them all in the upcoming 2024 season. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bills Bunker. I'm Jake Varco, and today I want to talk to you about the Buffalo Bills wide receiver core for the upcoming 2024 season and why I think it might actually turn out to be better than what we've seen in years past. But before I do that, I'd like to take a moment to encourage you to click subscribe on the channel. Stay tuned for more content coming your way, and if you haven't yet, check out other stuff right here on the Bills Bunker. It's going to be a fun 2024 season. I'll be heading to Houston, I'll be heading to Seattle, and I'll be heading to every single home game in Buffalo for my reaction videos. Stay tuned for all that and much more coming your way. Here we go. When you look at the Buffalo Bills receivers last season versus this year, it's clear that the 2023 receiving core was pretty top heavy with Diggs and Davis, but there wasn't very much depth after that. Now, if you compare that to the current core, you'll see that the new core isn't as top heavy, and it might not have the big names like Diggs and Davis, but there's plenty of depth, and there's a lot of weapons that can hurt defenses in a multitude of different ways. I'd also like to point out that I love what analyst and former NFL player Dan Orlovsky had to say about the Bills offense on X recently when he highlighted their new offensive weapons, and he mentioned how he believes that they'll make Josh Allen's life easier going forward. So, I think it's a good idea to go over the players, these wide receivers, each and every one of them, and what they bring to the table for the Buffalo Bills moving forward. To start off, let's discuss the second round draft pick, the 33rd overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. Wide receiver Keon Coleman, the 21-year-old rookie, brings a unique skill set to the Bills offense as a physical wideout, standing in at 6'4", 215 pounds with a background in basketball. The former FSU standout excels in jump ball scenarios, and he should be a red zone threat for Buffalo right off the bat. I think everybody is excited to see what Keon Coleman brings to the table. Hopefully, his performances on the field are even better than what we've seen in press conferences.
We could go. Oh, my bad. Y'all can hear me? This on?
The most recent addition to the receiver room was veteran wide receiver Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who has won back-to-back Super Bowls with the Kansas City Chiefs. MVS is a big-bodied, speedy, deep threat wideout who will help the Bills stretch the field vertically, and although many people want to talk about his history of drops, it's really worth noting that he's come up with some big-time playoff performances over the last few years in Kansas City, helping them en route to back-to-back Super Bowl championships. Another big-bodied addition in free agency to the wide receiver core is Mac Hollins, who clearly struggled to produce last year in Atlanta, but obviously the quarterback situation in Buffalo is a heck of a lot better than Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke, because we're talking about Josh freaking Allen. Hollins should be able to utilize his 6'4", 221-pound frame to be a deep threat in the Bills' offense. Although the expectations for him aren't very high, he has shown flashes of potential producing in the past, with his best season being back in 2020 with the Raiders, when he had over 600 yards receiving, paired with 4 touchdowns. And when you look at the Buffalo Bills wide receiver room and the additions they made this offseason, it's clear that they wanted to get bigger. And they did just that. They got bigger and stronger in the receiving core this offseason because they added another big body in Chase Claypool, who stands in at an impressive 6'4", 238 pounds. The Canadian-born receiver has definitely struggled to produce over the last few seasons in Chicago and Miami, but we've seen the flashes of potential in the past. Let's not forget, that this is a player who had back-to-back seasons with over 800 yards with the Steelers in his rookie year in 2020 and the following season in 2021. Now he'll enter a great situation with Josh Allen as his quarterback. Claypool is someone who's faced heavy criticism for some of his antics and a lack of production as of late over the last few seasons. So this could very well be his last opportunity in the NFL. Don't be shocked if he puts his head down and goes to work here, because he has to understand at this point that his chances are numbered in the National Football League, and he has to make the most of this opportunity if he wants to stay at the highest level of professional football. And perhaps the biggest and most underrated offseason signing by the Buffalo Bills in free agency was Curtis Samuel, who is a very interesting player that possesses a versatile skill set that offensive coordinator Joe Brady will be very excited to utilize in this Buffalo offense moving forward. If you rewind all the way back to the 2020 season, Curtis Samuel played in a Joe Brady offense with the Carolina Panthers, and he had his most productive NFL season. It's clear that Brady has a vision for Samuel in the Bills offense, and it's really exciting to envision the possibilities for the free agency edition in Buffalo. Look for Curtis Samuel to be used as a gadget player. I wouldn't be surprised to see him getting some rushes, and look for him to be a deep threat. He'll be utilized in a plethora of different ways. So obviously there were a number of new faces added into the mix of the receiver room. Receiver, that position was a position of need entering the offseason, even before the Bills traded Stefon Diggs. However, they do have a returning face here with Khalil Shakir, who emerged as one of the main fixtures in the Bills offense in the back half of the season last year. Shakir led the team in receiving in the final 7 games of the year, and he had a pair of touchdowns in the playoffs as well. So moving forward, the 24-year-old receiver should be expected to continue making contributions as one of the few returning weapons in the Buffalo offense who actually has built up some chemistry with Josh Allen over the last 2 years. The Bills do have some other receivers that could compete for a role on the team in 2024. Guys like Justin Shorter, KJ Hamler, Tyrell Shavers, and Andy Isabella, among others. But the ones I've previously highlighted in this video are the ones that I envision having the biggest impact on the Buffalo Bills in their wide receiver room in the upcoming season. Many people are really concerned by what you could call a lack of star power in the Bills wide receiver room for the 2024 season, and I guess that's fair. But in reality, it could be even better than what we've seen in years past. And that's because Josh Allen has so many weapons to target at his disposal that it's just going to be such a handful for defenses to try to game plan for it. While the clear-cut number 1 wide receiver might not be there right now, Josh is going to have plenty of options that possess a variety of different skill sets. And I haven't even touched on tight ends Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, or the running back room that consists of James Cook, Ray Davis, Frank Gore Jr., Ty Johnson. Obviously not all those guys are going to make the team, but there's going to be some, and it's going to be a nice mix of weapons on this Bills offense here. Clearly this wide receiver core isn't one of those flashy wide receiver cores like what you see with the Philadelphia Eagles, the Cincinnati Bengals, or the Miami Dolphins. However, it is one that's filled with depth and plenty of competent wide receivers. It's honestly really comparable to what you saw with the Kansas City Chiefs on their Super Bowl run last season. I'm beyond excited to see what this Bills receiver core does for the Buffalo Bills. I feel like it's a bit hit or miss, but I feel like just because of how much depth you have, obviously there's a lot of question marks with guys like Chase Claypool. What's he going to bring to the table? Is he going to have a resurgence, or is he going to look like he has in the past few years? Curtis Samuel, what's he going to bring to the team? Because we know that he's a gadget player that can do so many different things. Khalil Shakir, we know what he does. Keon Coleman, a rookie, 2nd round pick. I mean, he is an exciting player, and if he excels in the National Football League, the Bills should be set at that position for quite some time. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, we've seen him succeed with the Kansas City Chiefs over the last few years. Now he's bringing that success over to Buffalo. He's played with Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, and now Josh Allen. A lot of people aren't too excited about him, but there is potential that he does some good things for the Bills, especially in the playoffs given his playoff history. Based off what we saw in the second half of the 2023 season, I don't think this is going to be a pass-heavy offense, but I think Josh Allen has so many weapons at his disposal that the Bills are really set up for success on the offensive side of the football, and I think it's a really nice thing that the Buffalo Bills did. Brandon B did a great job of maneuvering with such little cap space, and Stefon Diggs, Gabe Davis both departing. But I want to know in the comment section down below, how are you feeling about this wide receiver core? Do you think it will be better or worse than what we've seen in years past? Let me know. Let's hear it in the comment section down below. Click subscribe if you haven't yet. I'm Jake Varco. This is the Bills Bunker. Go Bills.